most respected job in the US military isn't a SEAL, it is in Delta. And the least respected job on this list outranks both of them in one specific way nobody talks about. Fame is what the public hands you. Respect is what the man next to you decides, quietly, behind your back. The two almost never land on the same job. So this list gets built from the inside. One rule, nothing here is ranked by how hard the job is. It's ranked by whether the people around you want you there when it goes wrong. And this is every branch. Army MOS codes, Navy ratings, Air Force AFSCs, Marine Corps MOSs. Army numbers show up most because the Army is biggest, not because it's the only one that counts. A cook is a cook in every uniform. 92 Golf. Culinary specialist. 8 weeks at the Joint Culinary Center of Excellence, Fort Lee. Then a career of getting blamed for the eggs. Navy calls it CS. Marines call it 3381. Everybody calls them spoons. The contempt is loud and constant, and it evaporates the second the field kitchen goes down. 42 Alpha, Human Resources Specialist. 9 weeks at the Soldier Support Institute, Fort Jackson, then a desk in the S1 shop, IPPSA. Leave requests, promotion packets. The 4187 that decides whether a soldier gets what he's owed. 42 Alphas get called clerks. They also write casualty reports. The same hands that lose your leave form draft the letter that goes to somebody's mother. 88 Mike. Motor transport operator, 6 weeks and 3 days at Fort Leonard Wood, then a 5-ton and a route. Largest job in the Transportation Corps, about 5,000 trained a year, and it's treated like a driver's license with a rank stapled to it. March 23, 2003. 33 soldiers of the 507th Maintenance Company took a wrong turn into Nasiriyah. 11 killed, 7 captured, not infantry. Support, the convoy was the front line and nobody had told the convoy. 31 Bravo. Military Police. 19 weeks of one-station unit training at Fort Leonard Wood. Navy, Master at Arms. Air Force, Security Forces. Marines, 5811. Most hated job in the military, and the reason is one sentence long. They arrest their own. Everyone else here is disliked. 31 Bravo is resented, because the MP is the only soldier whose job includes cuffing the man he ate breakfast with. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Under Article 7 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, military police executing law enforcement duties can apprehend any person subject to trial by court-martial. Any person, the specialist, E-4, 2 years in, can put a full colonel in the back of a car. That authority isn't borrowed from his rank, it's borrowed from the installation commander. So the most hated job in the military legally outranks the most admired one. Put a Delta operator and an MP in the same parking lot. On paper, the E4 wins. Now the machinery underneath all of it. The word is POG. Person other than grunt. It came out of the Marine Corps and spread everywhere, because every army needs a word for the people who aren't getting shot at. Grunt means infantry. 11 Bravo in the Army. 0311 in the Marines. Everybody else is a POG. The split has nothing to do with courage. It measures one thing. Exposure. Who's outside the wire and who isn't. It's a risk audit wearing an insult's clothes, which is why it breaks. The Army lists more than 150 enlisted jobs. Combat arms is a couple dozen, so the grunt is telling most of the Army it doesn't count, while eating food a POG cooked, burning fuel a POG hauled, and flying home on a POG's aircraft. The insult is real, the logic under it is garbage. Both true at once. That's why this hierarchy is so bitter. 68 Whiskey, Combat Medic Specialist. 16 weeks at Fort Sam Houston, and the Army medic can't graduate without passing the Civilian National Registry EMT exam. 6 attempts. Fail it, you get reclassified. No other American medic has to hold a civilian license to keep the job. The Navy version is the hospital corpsman. The one Marines call Doc. Doc isn't a nickname, it's a rank the Marines invented themselves and handed to a sailor. The medic is the only man in the platoon whose entire job is the platoon. Nobody jokes about the medic. Watch what happens when someone tries. 89 Delta. Explosive Ordnance Disposal. About 10 months at NAV Skolid Eglin Air Force Base, where Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine EOD all train in one building. Attrition is brutal, and it's academic. EOD doesn't wash you out on a ruck march, it washes you out on a test about how a fuse works. Then the job. The long walk, 80 pounds of bomb suit, walking toward the device, alone, because there's no reason to risk 2 people. Everyone else is behind cover watching. This is the only job in the military where the team's contribution is standing back. That's where the respect comes from, not the danger, the solitude. The 18 Series. Special Forces, Green Berets. 24 days at Camp Mackle for assessment and selection, including the STAR course. 40 plus miles, self-paced, and nobody tells you how far it is. Recent classes have selected around 44%. Then the Q course, 53 to 95 weeks plus a language, ending in Robin Sage, an unconventional warfare exercise run across 15 counties of rural North Carolina. What comes out is a 12-man ODA. 18 Bravo, weapons. 18 Charlie, engineer. 18 Delta, medical. 18 Echo, communications. 12 men expected to walk into a foreign country and raise an army in a language they learned at Fort Bragg. Nobody disrespects an 18 series. That's about as close to a universal fact as the subject has, which brings it back to the medic. Special forces are admired, medics are trusted. Those are different currencies, and only one of them gets you carried off the X. Admiration is about what someone already did. The selection, the ruck, the beret, respect for a finished event. Trust is about what someone will do later on the worst day of your life. Desmond Doss, 77th Infantry Division, Okinawa, 1945. A 400-foot escarpment the Americans called Hacksaw Ridge. Everyone was ordered off it. He stayed on top alone, on a ridge held by the Japanese, and lowered 75 wounded men down the cliff face on a rope. He never carried a weapon. Here's a detail the movie skips. Doss stripped the markings that identified him as a medic. Japanese snipers hunted medics on purpose. The medic was worth more dead than a rifleman. Kill him, and you kill everyone he was going to save. Special Forces changes what happens in a war. The medic changes who comes home from it. Most respected job in the US military. 68 Whiskey, the combat medic, least respected. 31 Bravo, the MP who can legally arrest every other name on this list. The Army has more than 150 enlisted jobs, and I ranked 7. Next video. Every enlisted rank, E1 to E9, ranked by the power it actually holds, not the pay grade, the power.